Well, when you got to Oak Hill, one of the seasons you went 40-1, almost undefeated.
Yeah, we got cheated in Chicago by Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose, right?
Yeah, they cheated us. I don't know why Steve Smith to this day still scheduled that game. Man, that game was crazy.
Sonny Vaccaro was actually at that game when you lost to Chicago.
Yeah.
Now, did he talk to you about deals? I mean, this is the guy who signed Jordan to his Nike deal.
Yeah.
And then went on to do Reebok and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Was he talking to you about shoe deals at this point?
No. I met Sonny when, I met Sonny ABCD camp. So he threw this camp back in the day, ABCD camp, like the greatest players that you could think of, from O.J. Mel, Lance Stevenson, Michael Beasley, myself, Greg Oden, Tracy McGrady, Kobe Bryant, everybody, LeBron James, everybody came through this camp. Like if you weren't at this camp, you wasn't that guy. So he created this dope camp, and he always had everybody in the shoe game, with him. Created a big time tournament. So when I decided to graduate and I couldn't get into Arizona, I called Sonny about going overseas. So Sonny is the reason why I started this whole NIL thing, and I signed to Under Armour.
Yeah, I want to talk about this part. So you go to Oak Hill and you're killing it. By the way, the McDonald's All-American. Did you go to that?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
okay, who was there?
Man, DeMar DeRozan, Drew Holiday, Kemba Walker, Greg Monroe, Iman Shumpert, a lot of guys, man.
Yeah, so you're basically hitting everything. Every major tournament, every major camp.
Yeah. Everything is working out.
Everything is working out. I mean, how does it feel to a 17-year-old to really be on top of the world like that? People were saying at that point you're the biggest high school player, period, at that moment.
I mean, well, I couldn't feel it because I was at Oak Hill. So it wasn't like, I went to school. I graduated with like 20 kids in my class, and, it was 120 kids. So, you don't really feel it until you leave campus, but the most of the time I'm just working on my game, just staying focused. And that was one of the things I do love about Oak Hill is that, like we got away from a lot of the noise. And Steve Smith was very strict about letting anybody come up there.
Well, yeah, by the time you graduated high school, you averaged 35.5 points a game. You set a school record for the points in a season, 1,312.
Yeah.
And you're basically winning every award. 2008 Naismith Prep Player of the Year, Gatorade Player of the Year, Paradise Magazine Player of the Year, EA Sports Player of the Year, #1 high school basketball prospect. In 2008 by Scout.com, #1 prospect by ESPNU 150, #4 prospect by Rivals.com. So everything you could possibly get, you have gotten.
Yeah, that investment worked.
Right. But you didn't pass your SATs.
Nah.
Okay. Nah. Now, I've heard of low scores on your SATs, but you didn't pass at all.
No, I got, first time I took it, I didn't take it serious. The second time I took it, I got flagged.
Flagged? Meaning?
Yeah, like they just flagged it and they was looking into it, like investigating it.
Oh, because they said you were cheating?
They're cheating, and I think probably something got leaked at Arizona at this time, because I was going to Arizona because Luke Olson was there. Mm-hmm. So I was supposed to go there.
Are you verbally committed to Arizona?
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to Arizona. I'm going because Gerald Bayless is there, Chase Budinger, Jordan Hill. Like, this is the thing. I'm about to be a Wildcat. I'm about to be a bear down. Gilbert Arenas and all these guys. Like, I'm the next one. So, and then when Luke Olson retired, it kind of just changed everything.
Right. Now, you could retake the SAT though as many times as you want.
Yeah, I took it like 2 times, like 3 times.
Okay. Why do you think that you didn't pass it? I mean, were you just not going to school at all during this time?
No. I graduated from Oak Hill. Like, you have to get good grades at Oak Hill. Like,
okay,
I did enough
so how do you graduate but then fail the SAT? Because I've taken the SAT. It is hard in certain places, but basic math, basic reading, you should be able to pass if you're a high school graduate.
I mean, I did what I had to do to get by.
Got it. So you didn't really take the school super seriously.
No, I never did.
Never did.
No, I never did. I was fully basketball.
Right.
Basketball was my life.
So essentially caught up to you at the end.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
For sure.
Well, sort of.
Yeah,
sort of,
yes.
Because if you had passed SAT, you would have gone to Arizona. Not to say that would have been a better thing, but that was your plan at that point. Weren't you disappointed that you couldn't go to Arizona?
No, I was disappointed that Luke Olson retired.
Okay.
And then Gerald Bayless went to the draft.
Aha.
That year. So I was just more like, maybe this is a good thing. Like, maybe this is another reason for me to find something else out.
Well, but I mean, there were so many top schools at that point. I'm sure they all wanted you.
Yeah. I was supposed to go to UConn. So I verbally committed to USC first with Tim Floyd.
Right.
So Tim Floyd, I verbally committed, and then I told Tim Floyd, like, so I remember, never forget this story. Tim Floyd comes up to Oak Hill, and it's me, Steve Smith, and it's Tim Floyd, and he's like, yo, like, I just want to make sure, like, you know, I was having second thoughts because UConn was on my head. You know, Jim Calhoun was going crazy. I'm like, man, I do want to go to UConn. Marcus Williams went there, like Ben Gordon, all these guys, like, hell yeah. And then Tim Floyd came up there, and he was like, yo, man, you still going to come? And I was just like, nah, like, I'm cool. And then I never, like, saw him again. It was just me, him, and Steve Smith. And it was just, like, one of the most awkward moments. But it was just like, damn, like, this is the part of the business. Like, you know.
No, but you could have literally went anywhere.
Yeah, no, for sure, yeah.
Any school would have made a place for you.
Besides Duke.
Why not Duke?
I wasn't that type of guy. I was too cocky.
So if you said that you wanted to go to Duke, they would have said no?
Yeah, because I was just more like, like I was coming down shooting the ball like 3 or 4 times in a row. Like, you can't do that at Duke.
Okay.
Like, you know, like it was just a different type of time I was on.
Right. Okay. So you didn't pass the SAT.
No.
And then something unique happened. Now, before you, nobody went overseas to play for a year after high school. People either went straight to the NBA or they went to college.
Yeah.
There was no plan C. Now, that year, could you go straight to the NBA or no?
No.
They changed the rules.
Yeah, they had changed the rule. Yeah,
How
they had
long
changed
ago?
the rule when I was going into the 10th grade.
Were you disappointed?
Yeah, we all were. I remember we were all at NBA camp. KD was there, OJ Mel, Greg Oden, they was all there. And we just heard the news and we was just like, man, it's crazy. Like, everybody had to go to college. Like, it just changed everybody's perspective. Because everybody was going to go to the league out of high school. I mean, Sebastian Telfair just went. LeBron James.
Yeah, he's
like,
a regular on my show. Yeah, he went straight.
You know, Dwight Howard. And it's like, we can't go?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was terrible.
Okay. So they changed the rules, but for a couple of years, nobody went overseas until you did. Like, no one took that option, even the year they changed the rules, right?
Yeah, nobody.
So these days people do it, but at that time when, you know, they brought up the idea of going to Europe to play for a year, what did you think?
Well, I asked all my coaches first. I asked Steve Smith, I said, do you think this is a league I can play in? Because the first thing you hear, you know, Europe is very physical. You'll be back home because, you know, you can't understand the language and coaches are tough. So I was doing all my research at first, but I had Sonny Vaccaro, right? So me and my mom was in traffic on my way to my workout, and Klay Thompson's dad, Michael Thompson, was on the radio with Sonny Vaccaro saying, I don't understand why kids just don't sit out for a year or go overseas and play and make the NCAA make a move. So I'm just sitting there like, damn, like this is like, you know, I ain't passed SAT. I'm like, damn, we got to call Sonny on this. This might be something I can do. Called Sonny, got on the phone with Sonny. Sonny made a couple calls. Next thing you know, I'm in Vegas. I'm trying out for a couple of teams. I'm in the gym with J.R. Smith, Dante Jones, all these guys. And they young, they in their prime, and I'm going at them at 18, like doing my thing. I had 2 offers after 2 workouts, and it was with a team for Israel and Rome.
Right. Lotto Matica?
Yep, Lottomatica Roma.
Lottomatica Rome.
Yeah.
Lottomatica Roma from Rome, Italy.
Yes.
So those were the 2 offers. Why'd you go with Rome instead of Israel?
Because my mom said, hell no, we ain't going to Israel. Like, she was just not with all that. Like,
Okay.
You know, and it was during the time where Obama was finna get in office. Like, you know, the recession was coming. So she was just more like, you know, just trying to be more careful. Okay. You know, and it was our first time overseas. So.
Right. Well, you signed with Roma for $1.65 million.
Yeah. The 1.6 was because of Under Armour.
Oh, so they were part of that deal?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, right. Because you signed with Under Armour that same year?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So this how crazy my 2 weeks was. Got on the phone with Sonny, went to Vegas in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I signed with Roma. We go to night win to win. You know, Sonny got it all set up like the Godfather. You know, Sonny in there, you know, doing his thing, talking. And then I meet I meet this guy named Chris Stone. He was running the Elite 24 at the time, right? So I see him in the lobby. I'm like, yo, I just signed to go to Europe. Like, yo, I'm about to go to Europe. I'm about to change the game. He's like, yo, that's crazy. I just got the deal with Under Armour. He was like, I'm about to start basketball with them. So next thing you know, he was like, yo, let's go to the USA game. So he's best friends with J Kidd, showing me around everything, doing his thing. Like, trying to get me to sign with Under Armour. And then next thing you know, 2 weeks later, Sonny, we back in Baltimore meeting with Kevin Plank at 18. And he's like, yeah, you're going to be our first basketball athlete. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right. Because up until then, Under Armour was just like running shoes and so forth.
And football, remember?
Football, yeah, right.
We
Cleats.
must protect this house.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. But they started a basketball division. You became the first signee.
Yes.
At $2 million.
Yeah, I was the first signee with a signature shoe too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because Steph Curry signed back in, later on in 2013.
Right.
Which was, this was what year? This was 2008.
Yeah.
So this was like 5 years before Steph actually came around.
Yeah.
And changed the whole landscape.
Yeah.
For Under Armour.